Hello friends, this is Vineet Patavri, founder of quickermaths.com, and today I'm going to share with you a shortcut to find the square of a number. In this method, we will first look at how to find square of numbers ranging between 26 to 75. You will think, why such a strange range, 26 to 75? So there is a reason which you will understand after a couple of minutes. So be with me. In this method, the first step to find the square of a number is to find the difference of that number, the given number, and 50. Now 50 is the base which you have to take. What is base? In this case, base is a number which is easy to deal with. So 50 is a round number which is easy to deal with. So if we are given with a number, let's say 62, we'll try to find out the difference between 62 and 50. So this is the first step. So there can be two scenarios. When I'm looking at a range between 26 to 75, there can be two scenarios. Scenario number one, if the number to be squared is greater than 50, and scenario number two, if the number is lesser than 50. So there will be a little difference in how we deal both these scenarios. One thing you should remember, that the base is 50 and its square is 2500. These are the two important numbers which you have to deal with subsequently. Scenario number one, if the number is greater than 50, the next step, the first step was to find the difference between the number and 50. The second step is add as many hundreds to 2500 as the difference of that number and 50. For example, if you are looking at a number 57, then the difference between 57 and 50 is 7. So we will add 700 to 2500. Why 2500? As I told you, 2500 is the square of 50 and we will deal with this number. Here it is. In step 3, add the square of the difference to the result of the step 1. So in our example of 57, the result was 2500 plus 700, that is 3200. So we add to 3200 square of the difference, that is square of 7, which is 49. So the answer becomes 3249. If the number is lesser than 50, what do we do? The only difference is there we were adding things, here we will subtract. So here we subtract that many hundreds from 25 as the difference of the number and 50. So, and the next step is same, we add the square of the difference to the result of step 1. I'm sure you must be a little lost because I have not given any example yet, because I wanted you to imbibe the method first. Now let me share with you the example. But before moving to the example, let me tell you that to use this method, there is a small prerequisite, that you need to memorize squares from 1 to 25. For your reference, I have given a table here which shows the square of numbers ranging from 1 to 25. Here if you see, square of 2 is 4, square of 3 is 9, and so on. So square of 23 is 529, square of 24 is 576, and square of 25 is 625. So you need to memorize this, because to make your speed faster in calculating squares of higher number, if you have these numbers handy in your brain, the calculations will become much faster. So let us look at the square of 67 as an example using the method just prescribed. First step, finding the difference between 67 and 50. So very easy, that is 17. Step 2 is, if the number is greater than 50, add that many hundreds, that is 1700 to 2500. So the resultant number is 4200. Add square of 17. 17 is the number from the first step. Add square of that number to step 2, that is 4200. Square of 17 is 289. How do I know? Because I have memorized that. As I told you, you need to memorize up till 25 to use this method efficiently. So I add 289 to 4200. So my result is 4489. When I'm explaining this method, it might look a little overwhelming to you, but trust me, if you do a little bit of practice, this will become very, very handy, and you can do it without any pen, paper or any calculator. Okay, let me show you another example which is on the lower side of 50, hence covering the second scenario. The difference between 48 and 50 is equal to 2. The number is lesser than 50, so we have to subtract 200 from 2500. So we get the answer as 2300. Add square of 2. Square of 2 is very simple. It's 4. We need to add that to the result of step 2, which is 2300. Answer is 2304. Isn't it very simple and amazing? Okay, let me try with another number which is smaller than 50. This time I am taking 38. Now the difference of 50 and 38 is 12. So we will add 1200 to 2500. So that is, we will subtract 1200 from 2500, which is 1300. I'm sure you know why subtract and why not add, because the number is lesser than 50. See, you have to keep in mind two very important numbers, the 50, which is the base, and the square of 50, because the calculation is done with square of 50, which is 2500. So 2500 minus 1200 is equal to 1300. Add square of 12 to the result of step 2. Result of step 2 is 1300. We add square of 12. Square of 12 is 144. So adding 1300 plus 144, we get the answer as 1444. Hence the square of 38 is 1444. Okay, now if you remember, the first number which I took out was 67. Now with this alternative way of doing calculation for 67 square, I'll make your life even more easier. So look at this very carefully. This is another representation of the calculation which will make it very, very easy for you and your brain to deal with these calculations. Look at this. We were finding the difference of that number from 50, which is 17, which is step 1. For the sake of visual ease, we will split our calculation in two parts, the right hand side and the left hand side. The right hand side will give you the first two numbers, which is the unit number and the 10 number, and the left hand side will give you the numbers which will come in 100 place, 1000th place or 10,000th place. So okay, now look at this. Instead of adding 2500 to 1700, for visual ease, I am just concerned with the left hand side and the right hand side of my answer. The left hand side, which is 25 plus 17, 17 is the difference, and the right hand side is square of 17. So this makes my calculation a little easier, which is 25 plus 17 is 42 and 17 square is 289. Now on the right hand side you cannot have more than two numbers, because I told you it will only give you units number and tens number. So this 2 which you see in subtext will go to the left hand side and will be added to 42. Hence the answer will become 4489, because 2 is carried over and added to 42, which makes it 44. So 44 on the left hand side and 89 on the right hand side. Hence you get the same answer which you were getting earlier using the other method. I will not say it's a different method, but it's a different way of representing the same calculations. So what's next? We will cover the extension of this method to find the square of numbers greater than 75. In this method we have seen any number which ranges between 26 to 75. In subsequent video you will see how to expand this to even larger numbers, which can be in more than 100, more than 200, or even more than 500, and you will be able to do this mentally, like you will be able to do this method which I just showed you by doing simple mental calculations, and you don't have to use any pen, pencil and paper. But the entire thing can only come to you if you do practice. So if you want to ingrain this, please practice and then watch the next video, which will take you to higher squares, and you will always be able to do it mentally. Thank you. Maths is fun if you are fast. Love you all. Vineet Patawari signing off. Thanks.